Matt, after Saturday, that was probably the perfect response, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I think a few of the group were disappointed with their individual performances Saturday. That was a performance full of pace, power, intent, front foot play against a very good League One team. Look, that was, like I say, a powerful evening for the football club. Really pleased on the back of not so much the result Saturday, but the way we played it in certain aspects of the game. That felt like a proper Tuesday night under the lights. Good pitch, quick pitch, two good teams going at it. I hope the fans were entertained.
Well, they were certainly entertained in the first half. 2-0 up at half time, absolutely deserved. Yeah,
two good goals. We've been talking about set piece goals. We're so strong with them towards the end of last season. Pearce probably should have scored the header. Harry Kite's in the form of his life in front of the goal. That's a difficult finish. I've just watched it back to keep that controlled and keep his body and head over the ball. Shows where he is with his game. And then Archie Collins joining in the second goal. The second goal was a really good goal. We worked the ball and worked the ball and worked the ball and waited for the moment to penetrate their back line. We were a little bit disjointed. And then a cut back from a classy moment from MJ, and Archie's coming onto the play. So 2-0, but you're never ahead of the game against Wycombe. And they showed everything what they're about at the start of the second half. Typical Dave Wheeler. How many goals have we seen him score like that for us in terms of that really strong finish? And they came back at us, and Jamal had to make a couple of saves, but as the second half progressed, I felt we became more and more comfortable.
You've spoken in recent days and weeks about a need for a striker, but Harry Kite, what are you feeding him?
we have to share out the load. We have to share out the load in terms of energy and distance travelled, but also in terms of the goals as well. Don't underestimate that. We didn't have Sam Nombi on the pitch from the start. It would have been too big a risk to play him, so shows us where we are depth-wise and squad-wise. MJ was outstanding with Giovanni. That's another good partnership as long as we get them the right type of ball, as long as we were high enough up the pitch to allow them to play their type of game, and then be able to impact the game with Sam was a real bonus for us, because as soon as they scored you could just sense a bit of anxiety around the place. We kept them at arm's length from that point on and scored a good third goal.
Like you said, Wycombe scored early in the second half, but Tim's goal seemed to come at the right time for us.
Yeah, even after their goal early on in the second half, they didn't create too many opportunities. They pinned us back a little bit and got some decent ball in around the 18-yard box, but it wasn't until we scored where Jamal had to make proper saves. So I'm really pleased with our intent to keep going towards the ball. So often in the past I've been on the pitch against Wycombe teams, and I've coached teams against Wycombe and managed teams against Wycombe, and you just get pinned back and back and back and you can never get out, and that's why Sam's introduction was so important, to keep us leggy at the top of the pitch and give us a little bit of an out, and as the second half progressed we were able to just control the space a little bit more and sustain our attacks. So I was more comfortable looking to my right hand side towards the opposition goal as I was to my left side.
Not much Jamal could do about their goal, but he had an excellent game today. But I need to ask you, what you're thinking when he pulls off two Cruyff turns in his own penalty area?
Scotty and Greener, to be fair to him, they just said give him a well done, because he was excellent again, not just in terms of the Cruyff turns, but his presence, exactly why we signed him. So another positive performance from himself. He's still not doing enough training to be as sharp as he might be. There's still more to come from himself. We'll assess him going into the weekend, but I think that was probably for the fans as much as myself stood on the touchline. But that's him, and he has to stay true to his identity. I speak at length about how players have to stay true to themselves, have to understand exactly what they are, and Jamal in that moment, as much as I was uncomfortable with it, if that's him, that's him.
We saw particularly moments in the first half, Gareth McCleary was getting down on that
he's a top player,
right hand side.
Yeah.
But second half seemed to pin him in a little bit and prevent those crosses coming in.
Yeah, look, he was still an out for him. He defies age, that guy. He's incredible in terms of his physical prowess. Such a good player. Look, they've got a lot of players who've played at a high level, and a higher level than League One as well, and hence why they've always been a close team to the top, if not a promotion team. So I think you sense straight away, I think it was Mawson a half-volley diag to McCleary in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. I was sort of stood there thinking, wow, this is proper football. And it felt like a proper game of football tonight. It felt like our first one, with no disrespect to Cambridge at the weekend, felt like our first one where we were really tested against tough League One opposition, and we've come through it tonight.
You spoke about the fans being entertained. The attendance tonight bigger than last Saturday, with less away fans. We've had messages on social media saying they could hear it at the other end of the city when we scored. There's such a really good feeling, not just at the club but in the city at the moment, and that's part of the brand of football you're building.
Yeah, it's not me, it's the players. I said to him about creating an inner atmosphere individually with every individual player, something inside him which is similar to that big bank at times in the second half. He's just bouncing, really positive and quite aggressive with it and quite front foot, and I've said before, we need our home form to be good. So pleased, we're off the mark in terms of 2 home wins, and we've got a game at the weekend where we can put a positive mindset out. We'll assess the group. We've not got a big group to choose from, so we'll assess what's needed going into the weekend, but that's what I want a home performance to look like. Not always achievable, but that's what we'll be aiming for.
Quick maths here, I think that's 16 goals this season in 5 games. That's just incredible, really, isn't it?
It is, but I don't want to assess the league too soon. And it's great we're playing against teams who will attack us, and it makes the game more open, and we've got players who utilise the space well, but we've also got players who are contributing. At this stage 3 or 4 weeks ago, I didn't think Harry Kite would have 3 goals to his name. Archie Collins a couple of goals as well, so people are contributing. I'm still looking to improve the squad, but it's been a positive start. As much as we were disappointed Saturday, we can accept getting beat at times, but I still want the players to try and perform at the best as much as they can, which they generally always do. Not always possible, but that was a great reaction.
And finally then, back here on Saturday against Cheltenham, it's certainly not going to be a game like it was in the Carabao Cup.
They'll make the 8 changes they changed in the Carabao Cup, and they'll be an awful lot stronger. They're established League One team, and they have been for last season as well, so we're no illusions what this weekend will bring. That'll be our toughest test to date, even more so on the back of probably the attention it'll get going into the game on the back of the Carabao result. We won't be reading anything into that. Like I say, totally different outfield group for the opposition. We've got to assess them on the back of the travelling at Cambridge, and that was a hard game tonight. You don't often see Harry Kite cramping up towards the end. I managed to look after Tim Diang towards the end of the game, but probably not long enough to give him a real rest. The only bonus really tonight will be Sam Nombe's availability going into the weekend, because he kind of have a rest, but he obviously got 50 plus minutes where he wasn't involved in the hustle and bustle of the action, and he's got to be ready for the weekend.